extremely Islamophobic and bigoted.
You're also a racist as well, by the way, and a Nazi and a fascist.
And so they'd rather sit there and talk to these, as you said, self-appointed community leaders.
The only way we're going to have this discussion is if the mainstream media starts speaking to more people like you and like Candid with Lubna. And there's other people out there, who have left Islam, who have different opinions. Because at the moment, all we get from mainstream media are the so-called community leaders who have never been elected, but they tell the media, I represent this community. Well, in this country, we don't have self-elected leaders. We have democratically elected leaders. And we keep hearing the wrong voices. We keep hearing the wrong people. We need to be hearing people like you, people who are born here, who see the UK as home and wants to live here forever and has the best interests of this country at heart. Why don't we see more of people like you on mainstream media? I'm sure you'd go on, but why aren't the mainstream media engaging you?
Oh, we absolutely don't fit their narrative, which is to bend over backwards and appease all kind of calls and cries of Islamophobia. So everything I've just said to you today, Nick, would be,
Yeah, of course
have
it is.
you have me classed as extremely Islamophobic and bigoted.
You're also a racist as well, by the way, and a Nazi and a fascist.
Oh my gosh, yeah, badges of honors, I guess today in these days anyway. But yeah, absolutely. And as I said, they wouldn't want to touch us with a 10-foot pole because for all of those reasons. And I think this is well, we're at such a sad point in this country where typically you would think free society would allow for diverse opinions like this. And I'm somebody who's come from within the faith myself and within those kind of cultures myself, and I'm speaking out. Yet they're happy to sideline those stories because it doesn't fit in with their narrative or the kind of woke mind virus agenda that they'd like to keep beating on about. And so they'd rather sit there and talk to these, as you said, self-appointed community leaders who, by the way, where are they to kind of come out and show remorse over what's happened with the grooming gang cover-ups? I think I've seen maybe two max since the whole kind of investigation was opened up again, and one of them was in complete denial. And it's again, there's just no representation there. You just don't hear. And there's hardly any women. The only women that go on those mainstream channels, they do my head in because they usually sit there and again, a woman's free to wear what she wants, but to or they always get that same kind of archetype of a hijab wearing woman who calls out the other person on the panel for being everything you said that I was today, Nick. And it's beating that same drum, and it's kind of all this DI infused lingo that they use, and it's this victim complex, and we've got to safeguard and protect Islam at all costs. And this is rampant everywhere from university campuses to company organizations, and the mainstream media is just an extension of that.
I'm sure there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the the British Muslim community who are like you, who think like you, who want the same things as you, but they don't speak up because they never see someone like you on TV. Because all they see are the imams, the nutcases, the Islamic fundamentalists, and they go, I better keep quiet because my opinion isn't wanted. But if we could get more people like you on mainstream media, I'm sure the Muslim community in the UK would start the long journey of sorting themselves out. But it can't be done unless we get more moderate voices like yours on mainstream media, on the BBC, telling your story, having these conversations and challenging your own communities. Unless we have that, the tens of thousands of people like you will just remain silent. And that's such a shame.
I think that's why now independent media is so crucial, and conversations like we're having today, for example, you and I could never have kind of teamed up and had a conversation like this had these platforms not existed, and we would only continuously hear those voices. And who knows, I may never have had the guts to speak up. So it is really, really crucial that, we all use our platforms to have these diverse conversations. And to be honest, because I um like portray myself as an ex-Muslim and I call out Islam directly, I feel like I have leverage to speak out against those communities because I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. They've discarded me, so they think, I'm an apostate. I've gone off the rails. I'm a far right coconut. So sometimes I think it's more productive for, as like you said, people like Lubna, who's still within the faith, that maybe she can do some more legwork and kind of make them introspect and dig deep. But I feel like the last thing I heard was they completely turned on her as well. So whereas I've distanced myself from that group, they don't even allow anyone within their own group, unless they toe the line, to speak out. And I think that's why I sleep more peacefully at night, because I have separated myself, and I kind of call a spade, and I really don't care about the insults and jibes I get for it. But I've kind of separated myself, and then I'm able to, with clarity, speak on the issues and say, it is their culture, it is this mentality, but it's also the religion. And those things, like, together are very complex and intertwined in a really chaotic way in the UK.